Welcome to the ThunderCast, your martial athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Livingood and Jed Horton. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week, so keep it right here because the ThunderCast is on the loose. Hey, welcome to the Kylee Mastin show. Today we will be talking about Kylee Mastin. I joke, but man, what a performance, what a career. We're going to get a lot about Kylee and all that she accomplished here recently. But first of all, welcome back to the ThunderCast. I'm Russ Livingood, and I'm solo again this week. Jed hopefully will be back soon. KD and I will have an episode that comes out tomorrow or the next couple of days, and it's going to be all about the Marshall football schedule. So look forward to that. Before we get started with the program, as always, I want to tell you to go over and bookmark ThunderCast.Online. Make sure you're following KD running the podcast handle on Twitter at ThunderCast_pod. He does an amazing job interacting with everybody over there, sharing all the news that you need to know. And as always, make sure to like and follow and subscribe on all of our social media, YouTube, or your favorite audio streaming apps. And I can't say enough about our sponsor. You can see him up here in the left-hand corner. For me, right-hand corner for you, Leasure Oliver PLLC, the folks at 304carwreck.com. And I'm going to give you a little word from them. Without them, we have no show. If you've been hurt in a wreck, call the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. Find them at 304carwreck.com. Yeah, so they've been with us since what I like to say is day zero. They really made this possible, made all the things that we were able to do in our first few months, giving away tickets, improving the show, all the different things that we've been able to do. They were one of them. Jed, of course, with Ignite Link came on not far after that and really helped us grow the show as well. And I hate Jed not being here. I do. But we're going to have him back soon. And we're going to hear from Jed's company, Ignite Link, because, like always, they bring you the 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week.
And now, here are at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week. As always, brought to you by Ignite Link, the Tri-State's premier IT management team.
All right, we're going to get right into it. We do have 5 things this week. And as I stated at the top of the show, Kylee Mastin just went off at the Sun Belt Conference Championships track and field event. Kylee Mastin has been named the Sun Belt Conference Women's Indoor Track Athlete of the Year. Say it with me again, Women's Indoor Track Athlete of the Year. She won 3 gold medals at the Sun Belt Conference Championships. That was in the mile, the 3K, and she was the anchor for the distance medley relay, and that team won gold as well. That now gives her 6 gold medals. Most decorated athlete ever at Marshall. Not female athlete, most decorated athlete, period, ever at Marshall. She leaves Marshall as the record holder in these indoor events, the 800, the 1K, the mile, the 3K, and that distance medley relay. And then also the outdoor 800 and the 1500. We talked about Abby Herring a lot on here. She graduated last year, and we talked about her and Kylee a lot, but Abby dominated the 5 things. And since Abby has moved on, Kylee took over that position to where it seemed like every meet we were talking about Kylee Mastin and a new record at Marshall. Kylee Mastin winning first place at these events. Kylee Mastin, Kylee Mastin, Kylee Mastin. We've been talking about it a lot, and this right here just goes to show you Women's Track Athlete of the Year wow. I don't know what more you can say about all that she did. She broke some of Abby's records. It just seems like every single thing that she was doing was a victory. Every time we talked about her, victory, 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 victory. 3 gold medals in one tournament, all of them distance running, and the fact that if you're running a 60-meter, I feel like if you're doing that and maybe you also do the 60-meter hurdles, that's something that you can recoup a little bit, recover, get right back on it. But these were like back-to-back days that she's running the distance medley relay anchor. She's running the mile. She's running the 3K. I don't know if we have any runners that are watching and listening, but competing at that high of a level, you have to think fatigue is going to set in. Maybe she still performs at a high level, but she's not setting conference records or breaking school records and finishing first and getting the gold medal. There's not enough for me. I wish KD or Jed were here that they could say some more. There's just not enough for me to say good about Kylee and that performance. And number 2, we're going to talk about that Sunbelt Conference track and field tournament. Marshall landed 9 on the track and field all conference teams. Now, the way it works is if you win gold and come in first, you get first team. Silver, second, you get second team, and so on. So here's the way it broke down. First place, again, Kylee Mastin. She was on there 3 times, but she makes first team all conference. Her teammates on that distance medley relay, Bren McKeever, McKenna Woodruff, Hannah Weiler, all make first team all conference. Second team all conference, Kazuma Bowring and Addison Painter. And then third, Laura Check and Rebecca Merritt. Rebecca Merritt's also somebody that has been mentioned here a lot, and she has a slew of records as well. We're going to talk about this a little bit more when we get to Around the Herd. But congratulations to our track athletes for making these all-conference teams. Even though the team overall placement was not where we want to be at, I think individually we had a hell of a tournament. And again, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Number 3, Aislinn Hayes was named the Sunbelt Conference Women's Basketball Player of the Week. During that week, she averaged 27.5 points per game, had 29 one game, 26 another. This was the kind of performance that we expected out of Aislinn this year. An ace. This was her second time that she won Sunbelt Conference Women's Player of the Week. Of course, that was for the previous week, and maybe by the time this is published and live on Monday, they may have who it was for last week. But the week before reigning is Aislinn Hayes. Number 4, the President's Suite is available to rent for Marshall baseball games. The cost is $1,000 and includes 18 tickets, which is less than $56 each. It's $55.56 if you're doing your math on the calculator at home. Catering would be additional. That goes through Buddy's Barbecue. They have the concessions and the catering at the Jack right now. But that President's Suite is along the first baseline. It's the upper deck there. It has real nice wraparound outdoor deck and seating and everything, and indoor with TVs and chairs and countertops and things like that. If you haven't been in there, I don't have a real good updated photo of it from the stadium tour. It was still being finished when I put that up on ThunderCast.Online. But really cool, really good space. If you have a business and you want to host some people, or if you and 17 of your closest friends want to go in and rent that, or if you want less than that and just want to absorb a little bit more cost, it's a really cool way to take in a game at the Jack. I was actually up there for a Cold Cats game, Marshall and the Thunder Trust were putting on an event, and it was really cool to take in a game from that location. You know, you go outside to watch the game, inside to grab a something to eat, something to drink. If it's cold, if it's hot, you know, you can go inside a little bit and mingle. Number 5, brackets are set for the men's and women's basketball tournament for the Sun Belt Conference. The women are the 11th seed overall, and they play at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 4th, versus 14th seed South Alabama. And the men snag the 5th seed, and they will play at 6 p.m. on Friday, March 7th. Now, we've got a lot that we're going to talk about for that and around the herd, so I don't want to just be redundant, but both teams heated up considerably at the end of the year, and we'll talk about what they did last week and what they have coming up in the tournament when we get to around the herd. So for now, that does it for this week. 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week. As always, brought to you by Ignite Link. All right. Not much of a feature when it's just me. This show is awkward as hell, as you can imagine, trying to talk to yourself and still get all the stuff out. So I'm going to take it right on to Around the Herd, and we had a lot to cover. So let's hear from the folks at Layer 1 Solutions who have made it possible for us to take you around the herd.
And now, Layer 1 Solutions, your experts in business connectivity infrastructure, takes you around the herd.
All right, so we are going to talk about men's soccer first, and men's soccer was in the College Spring League, and they ended up through the first part of the game, regular time, 1-1 draw. So they ended up going to overtime and penalty kicks, and Xavier ended up winning. They will be playing Next Step Soccer on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Obviously, part of the spring is just an exhibition, but I don't know much about Next Step Soccer. All I know is Spring League, we're not playing again until March 29th. It'll be on the road. So for now, that's all I know about it. Next Step Soccer, I'm sure is going to be a lot like the academy team that we played from Lexington recently, but it's a chance to get out to the vet, watch some spring soccer, get familiar with this year's team and how they are going to look. And it's free of charge. So get your family over there if you can, if you're not at work, 10 a.m. on Tuesday, and watch men's soccer. Track and field, everything that we had to recap, basically covered the big things and the 5 things. The men, though, they finished last in the tournament, 7 out of 7. And the women finished 7th out of 13. A lot of these events that we scored real high in, we are just not up to the level yet of a Texas State, Arkansas State, teams that have been doing this year in, year out with these top performances. And it seems like we're getting there. A lot of the events that we talked about this year and the meets, how we had freshmen stepping up and setting school records and things like that, we're getting there. Men's track just started back, and we now have some recruits that have been under Keith Roberts that are coming in, and over the next couple of years, we feel like we'll make that next step. I thought we were going to see a lot more of that this year. 7 out of 7 was not ideal, but we did show some promise in a lot of things. I don't know if we're going to see another Abby Herring, Kylee Mastin duo that are so close over the next, I don't know how many years that it would take, because that's like a a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. You have two of them right there that are overlapping most of their careers. But we've seen a lot of success and a lot of individual success out of track and field recently, and hopefully going into next year with all the recruits that we've been talking about, and especially those that are going to be freshmen this coming fall, we'll see a lot more noise out of these teams. Women's golf will be participating in the Mountain View Collegiate. That's in Tucson, Arizona, and that'll be through Tuesday. It actually started today, Sunday, round one. Abby Bull and Savannah Hawkins lead Marshall at 1 over. Marshall as a team is currently 12 out of 14. Abby and Savannah both had really good rounds, but the leaderboard is pretty daunting to try to be on top of right now. I think the number one team was 6 under, and a lot of good individual scores there on the field. They're not numbered. Sorry. Tennis. They hit the road to face James Madison on Friday at 2 p.m. James Madison, always good in tennis. KD mentioned it on last week's show that the class of the Sun Belt these last few years has been ODU and then James Madison. That just happens to be the next two tests that we will face. James Madison, like I said, Friday at 2, and then the big showdown at Old Dominion next Tuesday. So we'll really kind of see as we get into this conference schedule how good this top 40 whatever, top 30 whatever, by the time that we get there, what this squad can do. Softball, they had a massive weekend as part of that killer 17 straight games on the road to open up the season, and not an easy task with all the ranked teams that they're playing, but it gets no higher ranking the number one Oklahoma. Perennial favorite, perennial winner, where elite teams lose players transferring to Oklahoma because it's the best of the best, and we had to face them twice. Also had to face Kansas twice. So we ended up losing 10-2 to Kansas, then lost 9-1 to Oklahoma, came back and beat Kansas City 9-1, and then lost to Oklahoma 11-0, and finally earlier today lost a heartbreaker, tied up in had to go to extra innings, lost to Kansas 4-3. Had a few errors on the day, and that just really kept the inning alive there in extras, and we ended up dropping that game. The Herd is now 6-11 after that daunting road trip to start the season, and they have opening day. Finally, get to have a little bit of that dot magic coming up. That opening day Friday at 4 p.m. That's against Loyola, and then right after that game, 6:30 p.m. versus Buffalo. Other games this upcoming weekend are Valparaiso on Saturday at 4 p.m. And then immediately following that game again, Buffalo at 6:30. And then on Sunday, they finish up the weekend 1:30 p.m. against Loyola again. So if you've been itching to see the girls on the diamond, get out to the dot, give them a welcome as they come off of this ridiculous road trip. Again, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa. I'm missing the other one that was ranked 15th or 10th in the nation, but we had a murderer's row of opponents to get us ready for this conference schedule that we're going to face later on this year. So KD mentioned it, before. We've seen good records, but we've also heard, well, you guys didn't play anybody, and RPI was low, and nobody can say that about this squad this year with their record that they've had to face. 6-11 against those teams, just ridiculous schedule. Other side of the diamond, baseball. Marshall outslugged Georgia Tech 12-8 in the final game of their series on Monday. We dropped the episode on Monday, but we recorded on Monday. That game was not. We recorded Sunday, and that game was not played yet on Monday. So that evened up the series. We went 2-2 at Georgia Tech. You talk about a big schedule. We had 4 at Hawaii with all that travel in there. 2 close games that we lost in walk-off fashion against Hawaii, and then you have to travel to Georgia Tech, who are just absolute sluggers. And we end up taking 2 out of 4 from there, going 2-2 on the series. Outslugged them 12-8, and slugged was the name in that game. We followed that up. We came home to the Jack, had opening day here. I was able to take that in before being out of town for most of the weekend. And we had a 3-game sweep of Fairleigh Dickinson. Opening series at home, we won 5-4 on Friday, 12-3 on Saturday, and then earlier today, 5-4 to get that 3-game sweep. The Herd is now 5-6 on the season and has won 5 of their last 6. They host Ohio on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Then this upcoming weekend, they'll welcome Bradley to town for a Friday through Sunday series that will be 5 p.m. Friday, 3 p.m. Saturday, and 1 p.m. on Sunday. So if you can make some noise against Ohio and then Bradley, Fairleigh Dickinson. I know Fairleigh Dickinson and Bradley are not Hawaii, and they're not Georgia Tech. But if you can win 7 in a row by sweeping Bradley and picking off Ohio, who we faced in fall ball and proved to be a tough opponent, that would be some serious momentum for this club. Hitting has generally not been an issue with this club. Pitching has had some rough innings here and there. That opening game, Fairleigh Dickinson hit 2, maybe 3 home runs. I think it was 2, but both of them were just severely aided by the wind. It was like a jet stream to center field with the flags flying out. If the pitching comes around, weather warms up, bats stay where they're at or warm up, this could be a dangerous team this year. All right, now over to round ball, women's basketball. We talked about this earlier with the brackets, but here's how things went down for this week. They beat Louisiana Monroe 73-65 on Wednesday, and then lost a close one, heartbreaker, 70-68 in the final seconds on Friday. Tie game with 5 seconds left. Referee calls a foul. Former Marshall star Mahogany Matthews, who is now at Georgia State, was the one that was shooting, and she hit both foul shots, goes up 70-68, and then we get fouled at the end. They don't call that foul, and that's it for the regular season. They finished the regular season 11-19 overall, 6-12 in conference. Not what we were hoping for, not what we may have even been expecting. However, they started 0-7 in the conference, and then they went on to win 4 of their final 6 games in the conference. Very much improved at the end of the season, playing well as a team. Came real close to picking up, a couple more of those victories there. Again, that one on Friday just let it slip out of our hands. Turnovers were the key in that game. I know that I looked it up during the game. This was in the fourth quarter. We had 21 turnovers. I know we had a couple more after that, but everything else, we were shooting well. We had a streak. We hit 5 threes in a row within a matter of, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. And then we just let them come back. We were really crushing them there for a while, especially when we hit all those threes. But this is a team that can do some damage in this tournament. Like I said, much improved, playing much better than some teams that are ranked a little bit higher than them. So you may see them pick off a team or two in this. They are the 11th seed. Like I said, they will have their work cut out for them. KD and I have talked about that. Anybody that's in those bottom four rankings, seedings, 7 games in a row to win the whole thing that you have to do. Not unheard of, but if anybody wins 7 games in a row to win this tournament, they deserve that auto bid to the NCAAs, because that will be tough. 7 days, 7 games, have to win every one of them. You lose, you're out. Nobody that's coming in second in this women's basketball tournament for the Sun Belt is going to be in the NCAA tournament, in my not so expert opinion. So if you're a lower ranked squad and you win 7 in a row, you're going to deserve that only automatic bid, and they're the only bid we're going to get. Men's basketball, to finish it up, we had a terrific homestand to finish the regular season as they cruised to victory over Old Dominion 83-66 with a very strong second half on Tuesday. And then they handled App State 75-57. It was not that close. I know that's 18 points, but we were up 23-21 quite a bit. And then at the end, we just held the ball and even took a shot clock violation, just letting the clock run down, dribbling around at half court because the game was so out of hand. That was in front that game Friday night. Not that there wasn't a lot at the women's squad for the first part of that doubleheader, but Friday night it was loud in the Cam, a raucous crowd. They finished 19-12 overall, 12-6 in conference, and are the 5th seed of the tournament, as I mentioned earlier. Midway through this season, quite a few fans had written them off. Quite a few never thought they'd win 19 games and whatever we win in the tournament. No one thought we would do 12-6 in conference. 3 of those games, I'm trying to remember if it was 6 points, 7 points. Our first 3 conference losses were a total of, I think, 7 points. So we did really good. And heating up is, I don't know if there's anybody hotter going into the tournament on the men's side. I believe they are a legitimate threat to win the whole thing. They're not, they didn't make the top 4 seedings. They're 1 game out from that, which, by the way, the top 4 all tied in record. They were all 13-5 in conference. So 1 game off. And I just told you, we had 3 games that were, near giveaways, a rebound here, a foul shot there, and we win those games. All right. So that is Friday, like I said, 6 p.m. The women's game Tuesday at 3 p.m. Men, with that 5th ranking, get a triple bye, and they get to watch these teams beat up on each other again. Whoever they place will have either had a double bye, or they will have played back-to-back games that we're going to see them there. And that has to help. If we win that game and then you go on, you've got the other 4 teams that got the quadruple buys that you have to play them. But I think 3 games and you win, 4 games and you win, it will be, it's doable. It's doable. You can tune in and watch women's basketball and men's basketball. Every tournament game will be on ESPN Plus. Again, check it out over at Herd Zone. Check it out at Sunbelt Sports, wherever, to see this bracket and the times. Just remember that anytime you see the bracket, when you see these times, we always say Eastern time. The brackets themselves are going to have Central time on there because of where the Sunbelt headquarters are. But that is all we have. A lightning quick show from me. Like I said, these shows are awkward when you're talking to yourself. I want to get this out there so we can give you all this news that we have. And again, I want to plug that KD and I will be back within a day two at the most, to have a quick word and a good deep discussion about the schedule that was dropped for men's football. I don't want to get into any of it here because I don't want to spoil what we're going to say there. So whether you see us at the Jack, whether you see us at the Joan, or whether you see us making some noise in Pensacola for the basketball tournament, no matter where you see us, we're always going to be saying, go Herd. It's the ThunderCast. Thanks for tuning in.